For those of you who don't know, I'm Maggie, and today I'm really excited because we are talking through a bunch of product empties. Now, I didn't have enough of these to do a video last month, so I always get excited when these come up again. And we are talking through a bunch of products that I absolutely love. I honestly, looking at this bunch, only think there's like one or two kind of duds in the group. So let's dive right in. One of those happens to be a dud, so let's just go ahead and get it out of the way, mostly because it's the biggest thing and doesn't fit in my little box. And it is this Aveda Blue Malva shampoo. Now, in a prior empties video, I talked about the conditioner version of this and how it was just kind of meh. Like, it really wasn't the best conditioner for my hair. I didn't feel like it necessarily helped to detangle things. It just kind of felt like I was using an additional product for no reason. This shampoo is fine. Like, I think that it cleaned my hair just fine. But the thing that I take issue with is that I get my hair cut at an Aveda salon, and I was asking, like, I want something that's gonna bring out the blonde in my hair and like maybe lighten it up a little bit. And the salesperson told me this, and I was like, what? I've used their like blonde shampoo or their version of it before in the past, and I was thinking she was gonna recommend that to me, but I just wanted to like be sure. And then she recommended this, and I told her at the register, like, I don't color my hair. I'm not trying to like tone down the brassiness or anything, which this blue, or you've probably seen like purple shampoo do the same thing. So I think we just had a big miscommunication. So this is not what I was looking for. This is not a bad shampoo, but it's not gonna lighten and brighten your hair. Anyway, definitely will not be repurchasing this again. And look at the size of it. Like, why was this the only size available? Ugh, and it was so expensive. So not pleased with this purchase, but have found a million other shampoos and conditioners that I love beyond this, so I'm just gonna let it go. The next product I want to talk about is actually a really big favorite, and this is this Old Spice Wilderness with Lavender Deodorant. First things first, the smell of this is outrageous. It is so good, and they even say on the bottle, this smells like manly lavender smells, and it really does kind of have that cologne-esque quality with the very characteristic lavender scent. Brian loves this so much that he was using the exact same one too. He has since had a reaction to this though, so I just want to throw that out there because if you've been watching any of my former videos, you may know that I've done several videos about natural deodorants and my switch to natural deodorants, and it was a big struggle. Eventually, spoiler alert, I landed on Schmidt's being one of my favorites. And after several years of use, I ended up having a really terrible reaction, like almost a chemically burn feeling and like noticeable redness under my arms. Schmidt's did reach out after they had seen my video talking about that, explaining, you know, we recognized that there was an error in that formulation and we have since set out to fix that. So they actually sent me a couple of their sticks of deodorant, and that is what my husband has switched to when he had a reaction to this. We can't figure out why. I have yet to have the reaction to it, and I'm already on my second stick of this. But one thing that those two deodorants, the Schmidt's natural deodorant and this Old Spice deodorant, have in common is that they're aluminum free. So neither of them are antiperspirants. They're not going to prevent you from sweating. So if you're like a clinical strength deodorant person, the switch to natural deodorants is going to be a bit more eye-opening, and your transition period may be a little bit longer. I have found that I don't need an antiperspirant deodorant anymore after so many years without it. It's not that I'm not sweating anymore. It's just that my body does not smell as bad. I don't know how to explain it. I think it's just part of like the switch. I don't struggle with BO as much as I used to. People are on different sides of the aisle on whether or not they think that aluminum is harmful for you. I'm like, if I don't have to put additional chemicals in my body, I'm gonna go with that option. So I tend to stick with deodorants instead of antiperspirants these days. Now, if you're curious, like, I exercise with this deodorant, I do some real hardcore sweating, and I still smell perfectly fine by the end of the workout. So this really does have a great long-lasting scent and is not gonna leave you feeling like you need to reapply it several times throughout the day. All right, next up we have this Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Deep Conditioning Mask. So they advertise on the front here that there's no sulfates, no silicones, no parabens, but if you keep reading on the back, it actually advertises that they're a 6-free hair care brand, so they also don't have phthalates, artificial dyes, or DEA. This stuff is great, and when I ran out of the conditioner that matched that Blue Malva shampoo, I ended up using this on my hair every day. And I don't know how to explain this. So I don't think that this is an ultra rich conditioning mask. I think that this is an incredible regular conditioner, but I think that if you truly struggle and you have the driest of dry hair and you want something that's really gonna lock in moisture and ensure that your hair stays moisturized for a long time, I don't know if this is gonna be that thing for you. People are probably gonna disagree with me on that, but I am very susceptible to things that are overly rich in the shampoo and conditioner department because I am an extra greasy person. If I use a super heavyweight conditioner or something, you will see it in my scalp the next day. This is not the case. This to me is just a very wonderful regular conditioner, and so that's how I tend to use it. This is not something that I repurchase all the time. I ended up getting this in a gift set with the scalp scrub that I do actually really enjoy and have repurchased time and time again. You've probably heard a million people talk about this, and it is good. I just feel like it could be rebranded, in my opinion. That's it. I guess we'll just keep sticking with the shower stuff. And next up we have the Method Body Peony Rose Water and Pink Sea Salt Body Wash. The name for it is Pure Peace, and this I have bought probably 5 or 6 different times. It smells so nice. It's not overly floral. It's actually pretty fresh. And I just love how light and delicate this body wash is. There's nothing mind-blowing about this body wash. It's no frills. It does the job. It smells wonderful. They do have a more moisturizing body wash that I'm using right now that I actually really like. It comes in the same bottle and it's clear and it has blue writing. That one is more moisturizing than this, but I wouldn't say that this dries me out or anything. If you've been looking for an affordable body wash that you can pick up that's super accessible at a grocery store or Target or something, this is a really good one. And I feel like this quantity, this is 18 fluid ounces, and I want to say you can get this for like $6-ish. So I think that it's a great value and a really great smelling body wash. Pure Peace. Another thing that I ran out of that I kept in my shower is this Origins Checks and Balances Frothy Face Wash. This stuff is definitely not my favorite Origins product, but it's not bad. So I want to go ahead and preface it with that. This is an extremely foamy or frothy, in their words, face wash. To me, it does not do as good a job as my Paula's Choice cleansers at removing makeup. Most of the time, I'm a night showerer. So I really want a cleanser in the shower that's gonna help do a good job of removing my makeup. So I felt like when I would use this, my face would have kind of a strange feeling afterwards. Not like there was a film on it, but almost like it was a little bit dry after I used this. And I would always have to go back in with a makeup remover and remove the eye makeup. So it just didn't do a good job of removing mascara specifically, and I would just have like the black smudges under my eyes. This is a fine face wash. I feel like this is like one of their brand favorite products. I feel like this is in every gift set ever, and that's why I have this, is because it came in a gift set. I don't know. This is not something that I would ever repurchase individually, but I'm also somebody that really prefers a creamy face wash that's really effective at getting my makeup off, and this is a foaming face wash that's not super effective at getting my makeup off. So there you go. Okay, this is another Clean at Sephora product, and this is the Boscia Makeup Breakup Cool Cleansing Oil. So I have tried to be really diligent lately about double cleansing. If I'm washing my face at my sink, now I know I just said I'm a night showerer and I'm not typically taking my makeup off there, so I'm like 50% of the way there, I guess. If I didn't exercise that day and I'm washing my face normally, I will always use some sort of oil-based cleanser to get the makeup off first, and then go in with my normal kind of like creamy cleanser and kind of finish the job. This stuff is pretty expensive for the quantity that you get. This is 5 fluid ounces, and I wanna say this was like in the $25-ish price range. And before I bought this one, I was using the DHC Deep Cleansing Oil. A very different texture than this. With the DHC cleansing oil, I felt like it was a little bit runnier and it was able to spread across my face better. So because of that, I felt like I was using less product overall, and I didn't go through it as quickly as I went through this bottle. I need to double check the fluid ounces because the DHC may actually be a little bit bigger too, which could be playing into it. But if I were to decide between the Boscia one and the DHC going forward, I think I would probably pick the DHC, only because again, I can use like 2 pumps of that where I felt like I had to use 3 pumps of this each time. But this one was a good one. I felt like this did a good job of getting my makeup off. I felt like it did its job. You just had to use a little bit more for it to be able to get in there and work the same way as the DHC. Springtime. I am an Allegra allergy person through and through, or so I thought, because I finished this bottle. Typically I buy the store brand, but Brian had gone to the store this time, so I got the fancy stuff. For me, it took a lot of trial and error to figure out which allergy medicine worked for me. When I was super young, I took Claritin, and that just seemed to have virtually no effect on me at all. Then we ended up switching to Zyrtec. Well, then I found like that helped with a ton of symptoms. The sneezing, the runny nose, the just like constant kind of stuffiness feeling, it helped with. But it did not help with itchy, watery eyes. Don't know how it isolated that symptom in my body to just not treat it, but it didn't help. So then I switched to Allegra, and it felt like all of those symptoms were relieved. Once I ran out of this, Brian had this humongous thing of Zyrtec because that's what he's loyal to. Now it seems to be working for me. It's either that or maybe my allergies just aren't as severe as they used to be. I don't know what the deal is. It seems to be working, so I haven't switched back to anything because he has like a year's supply in the bathroom, and we're just gonna use that up. I am still a huge fan of Allegra or the off-brand, the store brand, whatever you wanna say. It all works the same. So if you're somebody that is really struggling with your allergy medicine, just know they are not all created equal. And I'm here to back you up on that. If you need to have a little trial and error, go for Allegra if you're having issues like me. There are more empties than I thought in this box. So we're gonna move into more of the makeup category now. The first one is a concealer. This is the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. This is in the shade 10 Fair. This stuff is great. It's a super traditional concealer. This color works perfectly for me. It's not too light past my skin tone, but it's not my exact skin tone. And I feel like I really struggle with dark circles under my eyes. So I actually do prefer to go at least one shade lighter than like what I would put on as my face makeup, if that makes sense. This is just your typical like wand applicator, and a little bit goes a long way. And I feel like this is one of those very easy to use. I think that it looks great if you use a sponge. It looks great if you use a brush. It looks great if you're like me and you're lazy and you like to just tap it on with your fingers. But I went through a big like makeup sponge phase for a while, and I used this with that too and had great success. So if you were looking for an affordable concealer and maybe you're just overwhelmed by a lot that's on the market, this has been in their line for so many years. I feel like this is trusted. You can't go wrong with this, and it's at a great price point, somewhere around the $6 or $7 mark, something like that. And again, if you're anywhere close to my skin tone, then the shade 10 Fair may be the one that works for you. Another concealer, and I want to do a quick little comparison between the two. This is probably, if I were forced to rank concealers, this would be my number one. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, and this is the true concealer. It's not the color corrector and it's not the brightener or whatever. This is a true concealer color. Like I have this one in the shade Light, and I'm here to tell you, I didn't like this shade on me, but I used it all up. I actually prefer the shade Fair in this concealer for the exact same reasons that I already described. Now, directly comparing the two, this one shears out a little bit more than this one does. Now, of course, the more you work with the product, the more you move it all around, I'm sure it could get pretty sheer. But this is one of those where I can swipe it under my eyes and just like barely tap around it, and it already looks perfect and ready to go. Now, one thing I love that I feel like is a little bit polarizing for some people is this sponge tip. I think a lot of people feel like it's kind of gross and bacteria-y, and I just feel like if you don't wash your makeup brushes often, this is like no different from that. So it just doesn't bother me all that much. But if I were to pick one, like if I could only have one of these, I'm gonna go with the Instant Age Rewind just for ease of use. Two very well known, very well loved concealers. That's just my take on the two. Next up, the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. Now, I have talked about this approximately 1 million times because quite honestly, I'm afraid to switch mascaras. It is so hard for me to find one that works really well for me. I've heard people talk about the fact that they have greasy eyelids, and I think that that phrase is gross. But I kind of think I'm one of those people because I have a real issue with the transfer of mascara to my like upper lid right here. My friends have to tell me all the time, like, Maggie, wipe your brow bone again. And I'm like, what on earth? Outside of this transferring though, I've also kind of noticed that this formula feels a little bit drier. Now, it's always been a drier formula. It's one of those perfect from the first swipe. You don't have to like wade through that super kind of watery texture. I feel like from a monetary standpoint, it's a little concerning that this tube only lasted me like 1.5 to 2 months, when I feel like mascaras should last you around the 3-month mark. But I was getting to the point where this was flaking on me, which this hasn't done for years. Maybe they changed something, I don't know. I've been watching a bunch of other videos and people are saying the same thing. So I felt a little bit more assured in kind of what I had been realizing over time, but it makes me so nervous to try a new mascara. So if you loved this and have recently switched or something and you have a suggestion, please leave them in the comments below. I'm open to it. My eyes are very high maintenance when it comes to mascara. This brow product I really liked. This was the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim in the shade 260 Deep Brown. And I would say this is the perfect color for my brows. I kind of waffle back and forth between loving these super thin kind of brow products and then those that are a little bit thicker where you have to like be less intentional about the whole thing and just deposit color and kind of brush it out with the spoolie. It's now pretty standard for these brow products to come with the spoolie and the product on the end, so that's great. It's way more accessible everywhere now. It's very easy for you to create like realistic looking strokes, but then also just kind of blend it all together by like rubbing it through your brows. I feel like this is a very good beginner brow product, but you could also be super pointed, and if you like a super kind of like drawn on eyebrow or something, you could make it look like that. And I love that it's pretty inexpensive. I think overall the takeaway is this is really hard to mess up, so it's very easy to use, and it's a really great price point. So all in all, very impressed with this Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim. I think this is probably like the 3rd one or something that I've gone through, so really a big fan of this. That's everything. That was more than I thought. When I counted before this video, I thought it was just like 9 products, but all those little brow products and stuff were all hidden in there. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, still looking for mascara recommendations because it hurts me to throw away a mascara tube after 1.5 months, but I do love that Lash Paradise. And if you're curious, I've done a ton of empties videos. These are, I think, maybe my favorite video type to film. I just have such strong concrete feelings about all of them because I've used them all up. So hopefully it's providing insightful information for you. And if you want to stick around and you like this video, then like it, join our community, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.